Hello and welcome! My name is Keiko, and today we are turning 3 of my original characters into Pokemon trainers. Or just drawing them with Pokemon? You be the one to decide. Let's begin. First, we're starting with Gandalf. He is a character who's often tired, hungry, and loving, so I wanted to give him Pokemon that would resonate with him in that way, you know? Does that make sense? As you can see here, I was struggling so hard with Politoed because I could not for the life of me figure out how to draw this damn frog, okay? Instead of Gandalf holding Politoed, I decided to put Munchlax instead because I thought that would be easier to draw, and it was. Thankfully. So at first I was thinking, okay, Snorlax, because I often draw Gandalf sleeping, and I think that would be fitting for the both of them. But I also draw Gandalf eating a lot, and I feel like him and Munchlax would just go around wreaking havoc eating everything. I thought that would be fun. I feel like Munchlax and Snorlax would be like the perfect fit for Gandalf in general. And because Gandalf is, you know, a frog, I thought him having kind of like frog-inspired Pokemon in his roster would also be very fitting, so I chose Politoed. I know trainers have 6 Pokemon on them, but I decided to only draw 3 Pokemon with each of my characters. The other 3 Pokemon that would be with Gandalf would be Leafeon, the final evolution of Mudkip, Swampert. It doesn't really match his character, but I think it would be really fun for him to have that Pokemon, as well as, oh my goodness, what is it? The mushroom dinosaur one. Oh my goodness, hold on. Breloom. Is that how you pronounce it? So as you can notice here, I've given Gandalf grass type Pokemon slash water type Pokemon, even though I feel like the type of Pokemon that would be most fitting to Gandalf would be normal type, but just for the sake of aesthetics, I gave him grass and water type. I've given reasons as to why he has Munchlax and Politoed, but I didn't explain why Blossom is there. Why did I give this Pokemon to Gandalf? Because they're cute. That's why I gave that's why I gave Blossom to. There's an original character of mine that Blossom would be more fitting to. She'll probably have a Blossom, but Gandalf would have Blossom for funsies. Here they are, all of them together, smiling, happy. Originally, I was just going to draw the character and the Pokemon, and then I thought it looked too plain, so I added a last minute like background to each of them. I made it a circle to sort of highlight a Pokeball. I also decided not to change any of my characters' outfits because because look at what we get. Just look at Ash or like May, Brock even. They're dressed normally, and so I was like, oh, okay, I'll just keep my characters in their original outfits. I'll just add like little Pokeball things or like Pokemon motifs throughout their outfits. I feel like in the world of Pokemon, Gandalf would be one of those trainers who would just venture around, staying close to gardens and restaurants and stuff where his Pokemon and himself would enjoy. He would be a leisure Pokemon trainer. Next, we have Chika and her Pokemon. So Chika is a character who has snake-like attributes because she comes from a group of people with snake-like attributes who are able to produce their own type of special poison. So I wanted to give her Pokemon that were poison type, as well as having some snake snake Pokemon. Chico's occupation is that she's a rogue assassin who specializes in poison, obviously, so I thought giving her Pokemon that fits in similarly to that area, not the assassin part, but just the poison part, would help enhance her poison abilities. So obviously we have Seviper. Seviper is there. Also, they're 8 feet in length, 8 feet 10 inches in length. So I was trying to draw that, like in comparison to Chika, because she's around 5'7", 5'8". I think I kind of got it the way I drew them. I also put in Ivysaur because grass and poison. A little backstory on Chika. She used to live in a forest with her parents, and one day she was found by herself by a traveling apothecary who was of her people. So she was raised by this person to study poisons, different apothecary things within a forest. I thought having Ivysaur would be very fitting for that location, and from what the Bulbapedia once again has said is that Venusaur's flower releases a soothing scent that attracts Pokemon and calms emotions. I'll just read a little description of her. As Chika grew older, she experienced things that led to her becoming an assassin, with the main priority being to save her people from being used. Her emotions can often get the best of her, so I feel like Venusaur being able to calm emotions would be very helpful for her if something were to trigger something like in her memories, or cause her to experience discomfort. I think that would be very helpful. Though, in the world of Pokemon, I don't think there are assassins. So if we took that portion out of her, what would she be? Okay, I just came up with a rewritten story for her. Instead of assassins, I feel like she would go and save Pokemon from Team Rocket. You see where I'm getting at? She would be one of those people who would infiltrate the facilities and try to help all the captured Pokemon. Brilliant. So yeah, with her little helpers. Also, there's what's his name? Toxie Krogunk. My bad. Krogunk's cheek pouches and fingers contain a poisonous fluid. I feel like that would be very helpful for Chika because poison and like they would be kind of similar in a way, so they would be very compatible out in the field while they're working together. Other 3 Pokemon that would be under Chika would be Vileplume. So I couldn't really figure out the last 2 Pokemon to give Chika, but I just read the description for Hatterene. First of all, 6'11". Hello? That's a tall ass Pokemon. But the behavior is what caught my attention, let alone its shape. But anyways, Hatterene are very sensitive to noise. If somebody starts being too loud around a Hatterene, it tears them apart. Oh my god, I really want to give Chika this Pokemon, but I'm afraid Chika can be pretty loud, so I feel like fights would break out between her and her Pokemon. I think just for goofs, Chika's last Pokemon would be an, oh my god, how do you pronounce that? An Alcremie? But it would specifically be the lemon cream evolution. Chika is very big on sweets, particularly white chocolate and lemon bars. So I think a lemon cream Alcremie would be super funny for her to have. If they're attacked, it will throw a sweet scented cream to distract or blind the opponent in order to escape. So I'm just imagining Chika and all of her Pokemon entering into a Team Rocket facility, and then instead of using poison to disarm the people attacking them, they just pull out a lemon flavored cream and just throw them at the people. Yeah, so that would be all of Chika's Pokemon. So lastly, we have Hikaru, who is another assassin, but he's a part of an organization instead of Chika, who is rogue. I guess in this case, in the world of Pokemon, he would he be a part of Team Rocket? I have no idea. Maybe. He doesn't really work with others. He's kind of like a lone wolf, you could say, but he's very loyal to his job. He doesn't really question. He just does what he's told in fear of being abandoned. So I think he would be in Team Rocket, but he would just be like by himself, taking in orders and doing whatever. The Pokemon I chose for him is a bit interesting. He has shadow magic, okay? The manipulation of shadows and darkness. He can travel in shadows and whatnot. I figured giving him Pokemon that would adhere to his abilities as well as his occupation and his little side hobbies that he does would be very fitting. I chose Mimikyu. Mimikyu is a ghost type and fairy type Pokemon. I think Mimikyu would be kind of like a fun fit to be with Hikaru because like its background and stuff, I feel as if Hikaru would be very lenient and understanding of Mimikyu's like history and why they choose to be hidden. I also gave Umbreon to Hikaru because it is a dark type Pokemon, and also it said be able to see well in the darkness as well as blend in with the darkness. So I feel as if them going out at night, I feel as if they would be a very formidable team. And then his hobby is tending to bonsai, so I thought him having Grovel would really be helpful because he would be tending to his bonsai, and then he would have like a Pokemon to help trim the bonsai precisely and stuff, and to also probably tend to it while he's away. You know, honestly, at first I was gonna add a Lucario, but then I read that in Lucario's profile, Lucario is considered to be prideful and is extremely loyal to its trainer. So that's very similar to Hikaru in a way, but then it says it also seems to have a natural sense of justice as it only trusts trainers with righteous hearts. It would be wrong to give a Lucario to Hikaru because his heart is very mixed emotion / stagnant in a way. I feel like Lucario would be fighting against. Would Lucario be with Chika? Debatable. The other 3 Pokemon that would be with Hikaru would be Greninja, for obvious reasons. Another Pokemon would be, how would I pronounce that? Mismagius? Mismagius? Because in the Bulbapedia description it says, it usually shows up without warning to cause havoc on unsuspecting humans or Pokemon. So I feel like that'd be very fitting for the scene as well. And lastly, Turtwig, because Hikaru loves bonsai, and I feel like having another grass Pokemon that kind of resembles a bonsai would be very fitting. He would kind of be on par with Jesse and James in the realm of treating his Pokemon well and then the Pokemon adoring him. Also, he would be good at his job. I haven't watched all of the Pokemon, obviously. From the choices that you've seen me give, I'm only familiar with the first few generations of Pokemon. From what I have watched, I don't think I've ever seen Jesse and James succeed in their job. Or is that counterintuitive? That he's good at his job at stealing Pokemon, but his Pokemon adore him? I don't know. You tell me. Yeah, but that's it. That's all of my characters with their Pokemon and their alternate backstory. Let me know your thoughts. I do have many other characters, so if you want to see me make them into Pokemon trainers as well, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Next week's video is going to be kind of like a collaboration video with my community on Instagram. It'll be me taking emoji and photo submissions and turning them into characters. If you're up for character design, stick around for the next week or so. Okay, have a beautiful day or night wherever you are. Goodbye!